Okay, guys, so you're going to have a little assignment today. This is a sketchbook assignment, even though we don't really have sketchbooks. You can use any kind of paper that you happen to have. This kind of grid paper would be really useful if you have some grid paper. It would be useful for 2D design in general, so if you wanted to get some, this would be a good thing to have. So what we're going to do here is a composition exercise. More than anything, 2D design is about composition, how you decide to put things on the paper, where those things are going to go. So for this exercise, you're going to have three options, okay? Well, you're going to have three different items. The first item is going to be a house. Doesn't need to be too detailed. Roof, house, wall, door, nothing really to it other than that. Second item is a tree. Again, doesn't need to be too detailed. Can make it a fairly just childish, simple symbol of a tree for this assignment. And then the third item is going to be a sun. Okay, so you have those three items to work with. And what I want is 15 different compositions with those items. Now, these compositions don't need to be very big. You should be able to fit 15 on one piece of paper, and you don't really need to draw this big for each composition. So I'll show you an example of one. Make each composition about maybe like 1 by 2 inches. They don't need to be very big. Start off by drawing a box. You can use a ruler, you can freehand it, just try to make it neat and straight. And besides these three items, I forgot one last thing, and that is a horizon line, okay, with grass underneath and sky above. All right, so those are your four things that you're putting into the picture. So each composition, arrange these items in a different way. And I want you to decide, is it a good composition or bad composition? And you can just decide, and so let's get started. So in this one, you can also change the size of objects. So if you want them bigger or smaller. So this one, I'm going to start with the house right in the middle. And I'm going to put the composition right in the middle, or the horizon. And I'm going to put the tree right beside the house. And then I'm going to put the sun right behind the house and above the tree. You don't have to do a lot of shading, but try to kind of shade in, maybe like the ground a little bit. It's not a lot of space, so it won't take you very long. Shade in the ground a little bit. If you wanted to shade in the tree, you could. Okay, so there's my first composition. Then underneath that composition, I want you to rate it. 1, 2, or 3. 1 is bad, 2 is okay, 3 is good. In my opinion, this is a 1. Now, this is just your opinion, okay? So you're not numbering them, you're actually rating them. If you want to number them, you can put a little number right here in the corner beside it. Now I need to skip some space and do 2. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's why the graph paper makes this easier. I wish I could give you guys graph paper to do this, but I can't right now. Just regular paper, though, you can do it at home. Line paper is fine, too, for this, whatever you have. Okay, in this composition, I'm going to try putting the house over here. And I'm going to try moving the horizon line down just a little bit. I'm going to put the tree over here. And I'm going to put the sun in the center. And again, I'm going to shade in the ground. Okay. So to me, that composition is better. It's not great, it's just okay. So I'm going to give it a 2. It's definitely better than 1. Why is it better? This one's all clustered up in one place. It doesn't really have any balance. It doesn't really have any emphasis. This one's a little better, but it's not exactly balanced because this building, the house is kind of bigger than the tree. And since the sun's in the middle, it kind of makes you want evenness. Okay, so I'm going to do one more over here. Now, guys, you're thinking to yourself maybe, how am I going to fill up 15 of these with just these items? Well, there's so many more options. You can do so many different things with this. You don't have to just keep drawing them in the same places. So, for example, this could be a really far out composition. What about the house is only halfway on the paper? What if the tree is in the very center? And what if the sun is halfway in the corner? And then the horizon line is right up behind the tree. Probably I'll do a little shading on that tree too, just to give it a look of green. Okay, there we go. And this is an interesting composition to me because you definitely have a centered object, you have a focal point. The problem to me is this house is just barely there and it's kind of distracting that it's only halfway on and we don't really know what the rest of it is. But I think this is okay. I would give this a 2. And again, these are just your opinion, 1, 2, or 3. Okay, so there's so many different ways you can do this, so many different ideas. You know, you can think about size if you want to try resizing objects. You can think about placement, running them off the page. You could spread them out, cluster them up, where you put each object. And I just want you to decide what would make a really good composition. I'm going to try to do what I think would be a really good composition, and that is to balance the house with the tree and the sun. So I'm going to have the sun over here on the left. I'm going to have the horizon line up kind of high. I'm going to have the tree over here. And I'm going to balance it out with the sun. That's almost too, maybe the sun over here kind of setting. Okay. Yeah, so to me, this is a better composition because the sun and the tree balance out the house. The house is kind of the biggest object, and these two objects can kind of help balance it out. So I think that's a pretty good composition. I'm going to give that a 3. Now, I would like you to try to do a 1 and a 2 and a 3, and then a bunch of whatever else you want to do. If you want to do a bunch of bad compositions, but I'd like you to try to focus on doing some good compositions. Try to do more than just 1s and 2s. Try to do some 3s. Again, it's your opinion. What makes a composition good or bad is usually how well it's balanced, how appealing it is. Does it cause you distress when you look at it because it's confusing or all clustered up? Too much centered, but things getting cut off that don't need to be cut off. So you need 15. I know 15 sounds like a lot, but if you sit and do 15, you're gonna, I think you're gonna find it doesn't take that long once you get going. This is kind of just some practice on composition. It's a Friday assignment for you guys, Saturday, Sunday. Bring it into class Monday. If you only get 12 or 13 drawn, bring it in and finish the last couple in class. I want to see what you have in class, or when you finish it, get it photographed and upload it if you're a remote student. All right, guys, have a great weekend. See you later.